Guys, thank you so much once again for tuning in to today's video. For those of you that don't know, my name is Naomi, also known as One Authentic Heart, and what I've been doing is just recording some short Bible reflections over here on YouTube, and also writing some short reflections on either the Bible or also what's going on in my day-to-day life and how that pertains to faith, and how my day-to-day life plus my faith interlink. I've been writing about that over on the blog. You can find both the blog and the YouTube videos all under one website, which I will link below, but that is www.oneauthenticheart.com. For those of you that have watched these videos before, you might notice that I'm in yet again a different location in my house, and also that the camera is not as good as it might have previously been. The webcam, I can say, is on its way. So we've got the laptop, one thing down, and the webcam's on its way. So we praise God for his provision in those things. So thank you very much for watching today's video. Just a short reflection on one verse that I read this morning, which I just thought was encouraging, because sometimes, let's face it, what we go through in our lives, our day-to-day lives, can be hard, it can be challenging, but something that the Bible is very, very clear on is endurance. And there's so many reminders for us as believers to endure, to run the race, to fight the good fight of faith. And the verse that I read this morning was taken from Matthew 24, and it's verse 13. And it says, "But the one who endures to the end will be saved." And I just thought, there's so much hope in that, and there's so much promise in that, and there's so much truth in that. And I think that's a verse that we can really hold on to, particularly if we're going through a challenging or difficult season at present. The idea that we are not called to be the strongest. We are not called to be the mightiest. And in fact, another passage that has been coming up in my Bible in a year, and going through the HTB Bible in a year, for those of you that don't know, another passage that has been coming up quite recently is Psalm 18. And it talks about the fact that we cannot do things in and of our own strength. Talks about the fact that by ourselves, it's David writing the psalm, and he says, by himself, his enemies would have overtaken him. He was not mighty enough, but the strength of God was what prevailed. I really encourage you to read Psalm 18, actually, if you're in a trying season at the moment. David writes this psalm at the end of his life. It's also documented in 2 Samuel and chapter 22. And it's the same reflection in this Psalm 18. And it talks about endurance. It talks about this perseverance. So back to this verse in Matthew 24, verse 13. Endurance, endurance, endurance. And I think God is our strength. God is our refuge. He's our stronghold. He is our ever-present help in times of trouble. And we are to cry out to him for our strength, for our help. So if we're in a season where we feel like, you know what, this is one day too far. This is one argument too many. This is one stressful day at work too much. This is one rude conversation that I've had with someone who's just been on my back, one too many. Whatever it might be, God says endure, 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 because we're not meant necessarily to be strong all the time. We're not meant necessarily to have all the answers all the time. But we are called to endure, because God is the one that will rescue us. God is the one that will save us and help us in our times of distress and trouble. And that's what we can just be so thankful and grateful for, that he says he will not give us more than we can handle. He will not give us more than we can bear. And so if what we're going through right now, we're thinking, I can't bear it, I can't bear it. God's saying, I can bear it. I can carry this on my shoulders. Give it to me. Put it at the foot of the cross and trust that I will carry you. Trust that I will hold you. Trust that I will uphold you, strengthen you, and protect you. And so I hope that that is just some form of encouragement to someone that might be watching that is going through something that is challenging, going through a trial. It was something that just encouraged me this morning. Not that there was anything that was particularly it hit, but I was just thinking about this Christian life where there are just off days, there are difficult seasons, there are real trials, but God is a real God, and he is faithful, and he will just be with us to the very end of the age. surely he will be with us till the very end of the age. And that is something that we hope in, we trust in, we hold on to, and we endure with. We run our race, we fight this fight, and we know that God is the one that is there at the finish line cheering us on, knowing that in his strength we are more than able to do what he's called us to do. So I hope that's encouraging. I hope that you do check out the other videos, the blog posts, and whatever else it might be that I'm posting, wherever I'm posting it. It's all going to be on the website though, so you'll find it all there. Thanks so much for watching, and be encouraged. God is your strength and your stronghold. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good evening, good night, and God bless.